Today, we are going to explore the health benefits and hidden downsides of our favorite brew, which is coffee. Coffee is one of the most popular beverages worldwide for its energizing effects, while moderate coffee consumption has been associated with some health benefits, such as improved focus and reduced risk of certain chronic diseases. It's important to recognize its potential adverse effects. Among these, its impact on mineral balance, particularly sodium depletion, it warrants some attention. I'm going to cover everything about the coffee and the benefits, the potential downsides, and how to even potentially eliminate those downsides. Coffee contains caffeine, but it also contains many other compounds. It is the largest source of antioxidants for average American, actually. So whether the benefits stem from chlorogenic acid in our body converts the caffeic acid, then it will further into ferulic acid, which is very powerful antioxidant. Coffee needs to be individualized because there are people who metabolize coffee very quickly and won't have side effects. And then there are people who are slow metabolizers, in fact, like me. So these slow metabolizers have many adverse effects. So you really need to understand your adverse effects personally and determine what the amount is best for you. It could be none. It could be like 6 cups of coffee per day, depending on what type of activity they are trying to perform. So it improves athletic performance, it improves cognition, it improves ability to complete the mental tasks. Most people understand that from looking at the prospective studies and observational studies. Sometimes between 1 to 4 cups is associated with lower risk of cardiovascular events, all-cause mortality, dementia, and things like insulin production in type 2 diabetes. And now let's talk about the adverse effects of coffee. Coffee being the number one, it makes sense that it would have some benefits. Now, there are also some people who don't tolerate coffee very well at all. So, because of the negative consequences. So, these negative consequences are like sodium depletion in the body. So, the impact on the nervous system, impact on the digestive system, there's hormonal imbalances that can happen. And again, the dependence on the coffee. So, we'll go one at a time. So, the sodium depletion effect. So what happens? Coffee acts as a diuretic, which means it promotes the urine production and leading to the loss of electrolytes, including sodium. Sodium plays a crucial role in maintaining the fluid balance and nerve function and muscle contractions. When sodium levels are compromised, it can lead to symptoms such as fatigue, low energy, muscle cramps and weakness, and brain fog, confusion. So dizziness, especially upon standing. So regular consumption of coffee, especially in large quantities, can exacerbate the sodium loss, particularly in individuals who are already on the low sodium diets or those with high sweat losses from exercise or hot climates. So a single cup of coffee, approximately 240 ml or 8 ounces, can cause a loss of about 20 to 40 milligrams of sodium. The extent of sodium loss depends on the caffeine content of the coffee and the individual sensitivity to coffee and overall hydration status. How coffee increases the sodium loss? Caffeine is primarily an active compound in coffee. So it promotes the diuresis by inhibiting the reabsorption of the sodium in the renal tubules. When it passes to the renal tubules, the body is capable of absorbing it back. So that's what it inhibits. So this leads to increase in the sodium and water excretion, contributing to dehydration and electrolyte imbalances. So the exact amount of sodium lost due to coffee consumption varies based on the individual factors. So the cumulative effect, 3 cups of coffee can have about 60 to 120 milligrams of sodium loss. And we'll talk about the nervous system. It increases the anxiety or jitterness. We all know this. And it could be the cause of the insomnia. And especially if we take it late in the afternoon or in the evening time. So withdrawal symptoms could be like, headache and irritability. All these are withdrawal symptoms. And what can you do for the jitters and coffee? If you are experiencing jitters after drinking coffee, it's often due to caffeine in coffee stimulating the nervous system. So it's leading to symptoms like restlessness, anxiety, and increased heart rate. So here are some tips to help reduce and prevent these jitters. drink water before you drink coffee. So dehydration can exacerbate the effects of caffeine. Start your day with a glass of water to stay hydrated, which can help buffer the caffeine's effect on the body and reduce jitteriness. And choose low caffeine coffee. So switch decaf or opt for the coffee blends with lower caffeine content. Some coffee beans, like those from Sumatra, naturally contain less caffeine. So eat before the coffee. Consuming the coffee on an empty stomach can amplify the jittery effects. So pair your coffee with a balanced meal or snack that contains protein, so healthy fats and complex carbs. So this slows coffee absorption and stabilizes the blood sugar. Opt for the cold brew. So cold brew coffee has the lower acid and caffeine compared to the regular hot brewed coffee. The cold brewing process extracts fewer compounds that can cause jitterness, making it a smoother, milder option. Limit your coffee intake. Monitor your daily caffeine intake. Reducing your overall consumption or spreading it out throughout the day can help minimize, the likelihood of expected jitters. And take magnesium. Magnesium can help counteract the nervous system overstimulation caused by the caffeine. If you frequently experience jitters, consider adding magnesium-rich foods like, leafy greens, nuts, and seeds to your diet, or supplement with magnesium. And you can try adaptogens like, ashwagandha, rhodiola, or holy basil to help with it. And practice deep breathing and meditation. If you feel the jitters kicking in, try deep breathing exercises or a short meditation session to calm your nervous system. And L-theanine is an excellent option for reducing the jitters caused by the caffeine. It's an amino acid found naturally in the green tea. And digestive disturbances. So coffee stimulates stomach acid production, which may irritate the stomach lining and worsen conditions like gastritis or acid reflux. Especially when it comes to acid reflux, some people have silent reflux on coffee. So where they don't have any pain in the chest or heartburn, but they have a lot of chronic sticky mucus in the back of the throat. So that's constantly getting stuck there. And that's called actually water brush. That can be due to the reflux induced by coffee. So people suffer from acid reflux may benefit from lowering their coffee or consuming colder coffees. Or you can, of course, simply eliminate the coffee altogether. The primary acid in the coffee that converts during the digestion is quinic acid from the chlorogenic acid. And it also actually stimulates your own stomach acid, hydrochloric acid in the stomach. So the managing coffee consumption and pairing it with the foods that can help with the acid reflux can help reduce the overall acid effects in the stomach. And tips to make the coffee less acidic. Choose the low acidity coffee, like opt for the beans labeled as low acid. These are often sourced from regions with lower altitudes like Brazil and Sumatra. Dark roast coffee tends to be less acidic than light or medium roast coffees. So use the coarser grind. The coarser grind can reduce extraction of the acidic compounds and resulting in milder cup. So cold brew coffee. Cold brewing extracts fewer acidic compounds compared to the hot brewing. And you can add some alkaline ingredients, like, neutralize the acidity by using, I wouldn't recommend baking soda, I mean, even though that's mentioned, but you can use some almond milk or some kind of like oat milk to just bring down the acidity. So brew at lower temperatures. Again, keep your water temperature around 190 to 200 degrees centigrade. And French press is better in terms of acidity over the drip coffee. So this brewing technique typically extracts less acidity compared to the drip coffee machines. So rinse the coffee filter. That's also helpful to reduce the acidity in the coffee. And drink coffee with the food, like I said before. And hormonal imbalance. So there is an increased cortisol production. Coffee consumption has been linked to altered hormone levels, particularly cortisol. So increased cortisol, which can disrupt the circadian rhythm and lead to the adrenal fatigue over the time. So potential interferences, with absorption. So and then cardiovascular effects. While moderate coffee intake may have protective cardiovascular effect, excessive consumption can lead to elevated heart rate and blood pressure, irregular heartbeats in sensitive individuals. And dependence on the coffee, it's like overstimulation. So regular coffee drinkers may develop tolerance to caffeine, requiring increasing amounts to achieve the same effects. This can overstimulate the adrenal glands and disrupt the overall energy balance. And now, what do we do to minimize these side effects? So, limit intake, stick to 1 to 2 cups per day, and avoid consuming the coffee in the late afternoon or evening to minimize the sleep disturbances. Hydration, counteract the diuretic effects of coffee by drinking adequate water and replenishing electrolytes. Incorporate natural sources of sodium, such as salt or any broths, into your diet if needed. And then consider alternatives like herbal teas, which I'm going to show in a minute. So, and pay attention to individual tolerance. Some people are more sensitive to caffeine due to genetic factors or underlying health conditions. So, again, pair with the food, so the absorption is less. And let's look at the coffee alternatives. So this is mushroom coffee, king coffee. So blends with adaptogenic, because this mushroom coffee has basically, and it has got the mushrooms like reishi mushrooms, Ganoderma lucidium, which is also known as the red reishi mushroom. So the mild flavor adds to the depth to the coffee flavor. And this one is Dandy Blend. I mentioned this several times in the past. Dandy Blend is made of only 4 ingredients: the roasted barley extract and roasted rye extracts and roasted dandelion root extracts and roasted chicory root extract, because they all individually are similar to coffee, but this blend has all those 4. So it's a good coffee replacement. Maybe the mushroom coffee, some people can't take the mushrooms, so maybe their Dandy Blend is probably a good option for them. And this one is a chicory root. It contains the highest amount of inulin. Inulin is a fiber. This is the highest amount of inulin than any food. This is a prebiotic soluble fiber. Prebiotic means food for the good bacteria that nourishes your good bacteria. And the roasted chicory roots taste like coffee, but 100% caffeine free. That's a good thing. You can brew this the same way you brew the coffee. This is the chaga mushrooms, and also known as cinder conch or black mass mushrooms. They're renowned for their healing properties and have been used as such since ancient times. They grow wild in the bark of mature birch tree. And this is the South American tea, which is with a balanced mix of caffeine, antioxidants, and nutrients. So it is a herba mate. It naturally contains a combination of caffeine, which is found in the coffee, but theobromine and the polyphenols in this tea. And this is, natural alternative is turmeric latte, which can replace the coffee. And the conclusion: coffee can be a delightful addition to your daily routine, but understanding its potential downsides, including the sodium depletion, is vital for maintaining the optimal health. By moderating consumption and adapting strategies, to counteract these adverse effects, you can enjoy this coffee responsibly without compromising your well-being.